Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Broku no Hero. Today's video we're going to be talking about the Witch Queen and who or what she is, because honestly I wouldn't be surprised if we do see her again. In fact, that's probably going to be happening. I don't know when. To have such a powerful character and to have her not return at some point, that just really would not make a whole ton of sense. But gonna try and look into the world of Norse mythology, the worlds of old-time witchcraft, and try and decipher and figure out who or what the Witch Queen is, and maybe even get a potential name for her. And so if you do end up enjoying this video, please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys do enjoy the video. So, if you guys don't know much about Norse mythology, there are witches in Norse mythology. There were witches, quote-unquote witches, back in the day in Scandinavia and other parts of the Germanic tribes of those people. And these witches were often women. This is a main reason why, is because, if you don't know, there is something called cedar magic, which is one of the main forms of magic in Norse mythology, and was tried and practiced back in the old pagan times in Scandinavia. And cedar magic was mainly used by women. Mainly. For a man to use it, that was frowned upon, and honestly makes me think why the witches' forest is of females and just, witches only. There are no men, and men are looked down upon because they're not supposed to use cedar magic. And cedar magic is a magic of witches. This is just because men using magic would look as unmanly. Men are supposed to use their physical strength and their own selves, their own power, to accomplish things. Like in the Lokasena, in the Poetic Edda, Loki would actually accuse Odin of using cedar magic and said it was unmanly, which there's a word for it called ergi, which would be like calling somebody a pussy. And basically, Odin even used this magic, despite Odin supposed to be like a manly man. He used cedar magic. And so, who is like the originator of cedar magic? Well, that would be Freya. Freya is the leader of the Vanir tribe. If you don't know Norse mythology, there were two tribes of gods. The Aesir, which is Odin, Thor, and other gods. And the Vanir, which is Frey and Freya. At one point, they had a war between the two. And then eventually they would make peace, and Odin would marry Freya. And Freya is very important when it comes to the history of witches, because she is like the godmother of all witches, and the lore, the mythology of witches, she is like the mother of that. In fact, the whole black cats, that whole thing of if you see a black cat that's unlucky, that kind of spurred from Freya, because she had cats as well. But where witches were pretty much demonized was when there was still Norse pagans living around the time close to where people were Christians. So the Norse pagans were demonized by the Christians, and therefore Freya was demonized, and her cats were turned to black cats. Freya was turned from this beautiful woman who was a witch to an ugly woman who was a witch. Basically, Christians were demonizing Norse pagans and their gods, their deities, and that's where the whole black cat thing comes from. And what's funny is there's actually black cats and witches in the witches' forest within Black Clover, so that could be a nod towards that, but also could just be that this is just the basic witch mythology now, and black cats are a part of it. Doesn't necessarily have to tie with Freya. But there is actually a lot of things where we can put connections between the Witch Queen and Freya, and not that the Witch Queen is necessarily Freya, or I guess Frigg. Frigg and Freya are the same person in Norse mythology, just with different names. And so I think that the Witch Queen might actually be the daughter of Freya, and that means her name might be either Nos or Gersemi. I don't know how to exactly pronounce the names, but I'm gonna go into why I think the Witch Queen could be the daughter of Freya. And one of the thing is that the Witch Queen has fortune-telling ability, and that is exactly like Freya in Norse mythology. Cedar magic has multiple different practices and practical things it can do, but one of the things it does is it gives you an insight into the future. The Witch Queen has that. She knows that Vanessa will unlock the power to control destiny or fate. And she knows that when she leaves the Witch's Forest, that's how she's going to help unlock it. So the Witch Queen has these fortune-telling abilities, sort of like Freya's cedar magic, and therefore this gives a connection between her and Freya. Now, also, I guess the one other thing that would connect her is that she is the queen of all the witches, and she has an ungodly amount of magic power, and that would make sense for her to be Freya's daughter, because Freya basically was an equivalent to Odin before Freya would teach Odin cedar magic as well, and then Odin would become the most powerful god once again. So let's get into the daughters of Freya, and this is one of the main reasons why I think that this could be the daughter of Freya. So one of Freya's daughter is Nos, which means jewelry, and she is known for her beauty. The Witch Queen, she is known for her beauty, and one of the main reasons why we need to go to the Witch Queen, or why she's important to the story, is she has a magic stone, which is worn like jewelry in Black Clover. The people who don't necessarily know what it is, she was wearing it as an earring, and that is a magic stone. And it's interesting that Nos, a daughter of Freya, her name means jewelry, she's a witch, she is beautiful, and the Witch Queen has blue eyes, the same as Freya and her daughter. So that would be an interesting connection between the two. And just like I said, a lot of what is known of witches comes from the Christians going against the Norse pagans, and that's why a lot of the whole witchcraft mythology comes from. It's like a mixture between paganism and Christianity. It's like combining the two, or I guess combining the negative parts of Christianity, like hell and demons and devils, combining that with the mythological aspects of Norse mythology. And this is the thing also that really makes you think that she would be the daughter of Freya, but also potentially the daughter of Odin, which, Odin and Freya are married, so this would make sense that she is the daughter of both of them. And that is, she has the ability to control crows or ravens. That is one of the things we first see her do, is she will swarm you with these things and move you around, capture you, and trap you. And the thing with that is, Odin is known for being the leader of the ravens. He has 2 ravens that basically fly around the universe and let him see through their eyes. He kind of wargs with them, and sometimes they just tell him what's going on. In other stories, he'll see through them. And, well, it's interesting that she is a witch. The Witch Queen's a witch. It's very powerful, has all these ties to Freya, but can also control these things as if she were Odin. So this is something that makes me think she might be the daughter of Freya and Odin, and this is either Nos or Gersime, however you pronounce the names, because of her being a very powerful witch and also being able to control birds like Odin could. So that's what I'm kind of thinking, that she might be the daughter of Odin and Freya. And if you guys don't know, there are tons and tons of Norse references in Black Clover. This is why I'm kind of bringing in the whole Norse god into the story, and why she could be the daughter of Norse gods. And that's because there's already a bunch of references, races, and potentially worlds that will come. And basically, another tie-in to this is the fact that Vanessa has thread magic and controls fate, and Vanessa is supposedly a daughter of the Witch Queen. And so, if you guys don't know, the Norns of Norse mythology is like the most powerful thing in existence. They control fate, they control destiny, and depending on the sources, they are stronger or weaker, but basically not even Odin can go against his fate. The Norns, they use threads and weird, and they basically pick your fate or your destiny, and you can't go against it. Basically, if they choose for you to die at a certain date, no matter what, you will die. No matter how strong you are and how powerful you are, you will die. And that's what happens to Odin. The Norns use their threads and make it so he will die on Ragnarok to Fenrir. What's interesting here is Vanessa is a witch who has thread magic and uses these threads to manipulate fate. She is like a personification of a Norn in Black Clover, and if she is the daughter of the Witch Queen, who potentially has blood ties to Freya, it makes even more sense why Vanessa is this powerful and is probably either of Norn descent or could be a Norn based on her powers now. And it makes sense why the Witch Queen wanted her, and that would be so that maybe having a Norn on her side would be able to prevent Ragnarok and stop her parents from dying or something like that. Because the Norns basically use their fate manipulation to create Ragnarok, where all the gods will pretty much die, depending on the sources. And so if they have maybe one person on their side, they can go against the Norns. So honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in Black Clover, the Norns are an evil or villain group, they're an evil entity, or they're like the final villains, or something like that, because they control everything. And honestly, Ragnarok would be a really cool thing to see in a Black Clover, because not only would it just be a very epic battle, but in Ragnarok, you have the Einherjar, which are the warriors of Valhalla, who fight against the Jotuns. And that, technically, Julius, because he's a great warrior, would be going to Valhalla if Valhalla is an actual realm in this series. So imagine a battle where we get to see Julius again fighting against the Jotuns. That would be super cool. But yeah, a lot of interesting stuff here. You have the Freya and her ties to modern witchcraft and old witchcraft when it was the Norse pagans against the Christians. You have the whole black cat thing being a kind of a ripoff of Freya's cats. You have the fact that Freya has blue eyes, so does the Witch Queen. The Witch Queen has a jewel on her ear, and one of Freya's daughters' name means jewelry. Also, the Witch Queen's daughter is basically a Norn. Based on everything we have, we can just almost just state that Vanessa is a Norn based on everything that, is had here. And also, I think one of the most important things is the fact that the Witch Queen can control crows or birds or whatever, because that would be a huge tie-in with Odin as well. So I'm not giving any sort of, the Witch Queen is the daughter of Freya and the daughter of Odin. I just think there is a lot of stuff that can be brought together and that can be made into a theory. Now, I really hope we do see her again. What we saw in the Witch's Forest arc was really cool. I wonder if she'll be a villain or an antagonist, a neutral force, or even on the side of the humans, or I guess not the humans, the Clover Kingdom in the future. Like I said, it could be something where what she wanted to do was actually maybe more good than we thought. She wanted to have Vanessa on her side to go against the actual Norns. So, that's my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Plus...